Hello, this is the Ramblings of an Indisciple Mind podcast for Wednesday, October 19th, 2016. So as I mentioned yesterday, my episode of the Roundtable podcast dropped. I did put a link in the show notes for yesterday. I'll do that again today since I'm going to talk about it today. So my episode was with Dave Robinson, of course, because it's his podcast, and Marie Bilodeau, and Jake Kerr. And, you know, we got done with it, and I wasn't happy. And it wasn't because of anything the three of them did or didn't do. It was really because, if you listen to the episode, you'll hear this, that we never even really got to the majority of the plot as I had it laid out. We spent the time talking about characterization, about the motivations for the various characters. What was the power structure, and all of these kind of things. We did go down the rabbit hole of the caste system a bit, and so we never got into the plotting points. We were kind of basically busy with the infrastructure, and I really kind of felt like it wasn't ready. I actually felt like that I had embarrassed myself publicly, or would be once it dropped. Now, the wife listened to it yesterday and said that I had no reason to be feeling like that. That the discussion just showed me weak points that I can shore up as I write it and make it better. And that is true. I mean, listening to it again, I can, and a lot of these I'd written notes on at the time, but I was able to embellish those a little bit, and I added a couple things that I missed the first time around. I think it will. I mean, I'm planning on shifting some viewpoints. I obviously need to come up with some different dynamics, and I'm noodling that. I don't have a ton of time to noodle. I've got like a week and a half to noodle it. So it's going to be something it's probably going to be something that I'm going to have to explore as I write it. And I'm going to have to maybe also be looking as I edit it. If I didn't fully implement something or implement it enough or what have you, to be able to do that. I think there was a lot of good stuff there. It was stuff that I needed. One thing that probably doesn't help is, this is really the first time I've ever done kind of your classic workshop where you sit down with a bunch of people that you don't really know. I've never talked to Marie before, never talked to Jake before. I have had one dinner with Dave that was fabulous last year when he was in town for Confusion. It would be nice to be able to repeat that experience this upcoming January. So I did get to spend some time with him. The other two I don't know, and I don't know Dave super well. This is kind of my first time. My first time doing it, and it was a harder experience than I thought. It's, first of all, it's damn tough to come up with a synopsis that hits, because you got a time limit. So I was able to keep it to about 1,200 words. And I could read it I could read it in about 7.5 minutes consistently. So it's kind of tough to know what to put in and what to keep out. I mean, some of the stuff that I was getting questions about, I think I had it in the back of my head when I was writing it, but I just didn't have room for it. I had to kind of boil it down to its bare essentials to meet the timeline. It is a tough process just because, you walk into it. I've been working on this thing for a while, and I feel like I have all the answers, but at the same time, it's, people are asking you questions, and the first question out of the gate was one that I wasn't really expecting, and I wasn't really sure how to wrap my brain around it. So it is tough in that regard, in that, you don't know where the conversation is going to go. It would almost have been nice if I could have gotten a list of, here's the top question that each of them wants answered. The reality is the timeline probably wouldn't have allowed for that because I had a conversation with Dave where I did the pitch in a rehearsal-like setting, and he suggested a couple changes, and I made those changes, and I got those to him, I think, on Friday. And we were recording on Sunday afternoon, so it wasn't a ton of time there for that kind of back and forth ahead of time. So yeah, that makes it difficult. But so it is a tough thing. It's a tough thing as you're thinking on your feet, very much so. So and you're offering up something that here's this creative thing that I haven't even fully formed yet because I haven't written it, and here you go, rip it apart. And I think that was done. So we'll see. I think there's some good stuff there that I'll be able to assimilate into the story, and that is going to make it better, make the characters better. And so I'm certain at some point I will really be able to look back at that and go, this is what took it to the next level, which is what the whole point of doing the podcast was about. Is I wanted to be able to be able to take it to the next level, and that was my whole point. So hopefully, I'm hopeful that will be the case, because everything that they brought up was valid. It's not that I feel like they're all full of crap, because I don't think that's the case at all. I think the points brought up were very, very valid. It was just that they were areas that either I had considered fully, or just couldn't really articulate an answer at the time, or whatnot. So, but yeah, if you're interested in it, if you want to hear more about the world that I'll be writing in November for NaNoWriMo, then you might want to listen to the episode, and then you'll kind of know. I was thinking I might. One thing I'll say is, while I'm talking about this, is I was thinking about, as a way to kind of relaunch the Time Out podcast, is I will probably do an episode of that sometime in early November with an excerpt of this novel. And so if you are subscribed to the Meta feed, you'll get it. If you're getting these posts via email, you'll get it. But if you're just subscribed to the Ramblings feed, you probably won't. I'll probably mention here when I've done it. But so yeah, you might want to subscribe to the Meta feed between now and November. I'm so, like I said, I'm thinking of doing at least one excerpt from the story through that. So just something to look forward to. But that's really all I wanted to talk about today. So I will be back tomorrow. I'll be talking to you then. So be seeing you.